Hello and welcome to a very special edition of ET Retail Dialogues. I'm Shilpa Ratnam and joining me today is our guest Mr. Naresh Ahuja, who's the chairman and the CEO of the ETP Group. The group completes successful 35 years. Congratulations to you, sir.
Thank you, Shilpa.
And thank you for being here with us today.
It's my pleasure.
Now, to start off with, could you share with us the journey of the ETP Group from the inception to its current position as one of the leading solution provider for retailers?
So I started ETP as a very small company with just one computer. At that time, there were huge computers with green screens 35 years ago. Since I could afford only one computer, I used to work 12 hours and the other developer would work 12 hours. And we started building custom solutions for Indian industry, largely the trading industry. It was a successful business. We grew and grew and grew, and before we knew it, we were over 100 people, which was quite a lot of good size at that time. Since my family business was in home furnishing retail, it was called Naresh Ahuja, I learned something about retail there, and I decided to build a product point of sale system for retail. And as we built it, we realized that this business of having your own product and your own intellectual property takes a lot of funding and cash flow. So we built services businesses. We built various companies in New York, in London, and had a lot of services revenue coming in, which funded the product business. And then by 2005, we had sold the services business. We had 3 exits, and we invested all those funds into our product. So for the last 18 years, we've been a pure product company and grown, not just in India, but also gone out into Asia Pacific. So we have now our presence all the way from China down to Hong Kong, to Southeast Asia, to Australia, New Zealand, and the Middle East and India. So that's what we call the AIM market, Asia, India, and the Middle East.
Now, with your vast experience in the global arena, I would love to know from you the challenges and opportunities that you see in global retail. Also, what is your outlook for retail and e-commerce in India in 2030?
Oh, that's a big question. Yes, I think the retail industry has been very challenged, Shilpa. You must be reading articles where it says, restructuring, stores closing. So if you look at different markets, for example, America had too much retail. If you look at the amount of retail space per citizen, it was probably 4 to 5 times that of Asia. So if they are over retailed, they are right sizing. In Asia, we are under retailed, especially in India. Retail has not reached every corner of India. There's not enough mall space. There's not enough retail stores, high street. So there is room to grow in these markets in Asia Pacific. Still, Europe and US are very developed, there's enough retail. So that had to right size. I don't blame e-commerce for this. E-commerce, I believe, is complementary to retail. So I think retail is right sizing, e-commerce is growing, and most brands, when they embrace both in a holistic manner, they'll serve consumers better and grow better. In India, it's still early days. So as you can see, there are large investments by big groups like Reliance, Tata, etc. in the retail space. This is probably the first wave of organized retail going deep and penetrating into tier 2, tier 3 markets. And we're going to see this continue for the next 5 to 7 years. E-commerce is also growing in parallel. Indian retailers are beginning to understand the value of omnichannel retail and how integrating these two to focus on the customer is really the way forward. Indian industry has always been very forward thinking in terms of technology, and we are, the technology factory of the world, so as to say. So I think it's a pleasure to work with the Indian retailers because they really have a very positive mindset towards technology. And that's going to help India probably leapfrog many other countries in retail.
Being the backbone of all these companies, how does the ETP Group continuously innovate to stay ahead of the curve and also keep evolving to meet the changing needs of the retailers?
So we have 2 approaches to this. One is our own research teams. So we have fairly large research team, about 120 people, who work very closely on various factors with industry. So technology side, architecture, as well as business trends, consumer studies to see how consumers work. So that's one angle, our own research. We also have a concept called the CAB, the Customer Advisory Board, where we meet regularly with our customers and they advise us on where they see the future of the industry. So combining these two, our own research and customer research, we invest for the future. So when we launch a solution today, like we are in the month of March, we're launching 2 platforms in India, very, very advanced platforms. They are future ready. So I would say most retailers would be able to use them effectively for the next 5 to 10 years, because the platforms are designed for the future. So it's a combination of learning from customers as well as our own research.
Speaking about your platforms, you have multiple platforms. Could you tell us about these various platforms that you have, and also what role does each one of them play?
Yeah, we have 3 platforms. One is a platform that's been around for about 25 years. It's called ETP V5 for version 5.
All right.
So it's gone through 1, 2, 3, and 4 is not a lucky number, so 5.
Oh, okay.
In Asia, in the Asian culture, it's not a lucky number, so 5. And each one has had about 10 releases, so it's about 40 releases of that platform, very mature. That is designed on a hybrid architecture, which is very suitable for a retailer who is going to go deep into a country where possibly the infrastructure and the internet are not that great. So which means it can work offline. So it's a hybrid. The back end is on the cloud, the front end is running independently. So store can keep operating without internet. Of course, you need electricity, but it can keep working. The second platform is called Ordazzle, which is an e-commerce management platform that is on the cloud. So it's a fully cloud native platform. Since it's not for retailers, for e-commerce, obviously it needs to have internet to work, and it covers order management, product information management, marketplace integration, etc. It's an AI, natively cloud AI based platform. The third platform is called ETP Unify, which we're launching in March this year. Would love it if you can attend the launch event on March 28th. This is ETP Unify unifies brick and mortar retail with e-commerce. So it's one platform which has the customer at the center. So the CRM data, let's say Shilpa walks into a store and she goes to the counter, or there's a person with a tablet, that person can know which was your last abandoned cart online for their brand. And say, Shilpa, you abandoned these items. Was there an issue? Would you like to see them in the store? Maybe, you'd like them if you see them, wore them or tried them out. So it links and keeps one database and one piece of information for online and offline.
All right, so those are some very tailored solutions there indeed. You also have some great insight into consumer behavior.
Yeah.
How do you see it changing over the years, and also how has ETP evolved its solutions to meet those changes?
So consumer behavior has changed because generations have changed. Your generation is, I think, far more exposed to options. So I think the consumer earlier, there was always like scarcity mindset. Today's generation has an abundance mindset. I don't need to have one dress or one pair of jeans. I can have 5 pairs of jeans, and they can be of different brands, colors, sizes, shapes. So I think the consumer is more demanding, at the same time spends more. So it's actually, if you're a retailer and you take care of the consumer well, giving them the options that they want, both in terms of the product catalog you give them, the merchandising options that they have, also the delivery options and great service, after sales service, then I think a retailer can grow a lot. Because if you look at the amount of retail spend as a percentage in, let's say, my generation and in your generation, we would spend maybe 5-10% of our income on retail. The rest would go into property, savings, stocks. In your case, it's a consumer generation, so maybe 30% goes into retail spending. So that's the difference.
You're not wrong at all, sir. Can you share with us some success stories where ETP has significantly improved a retailer's performance?
We have one example in Asia Pacific. This retailer works in 7 different countries, and they had 150 brands that they sell. They have close to 3,500 stores. And so for brand wise, country wise, they had approximately 150 different software platforms. And they had a 400-person team managing them, and it took them a week to get all the data reconciled and into their backend system. So their MIS or decision making was 1 week old. So what was selling last week? Now with e-commerce, you have all this 11/11 sale and this sale and 9/9 sale and all kinds of sales. You need to be very fast in decision making. So the retail infrastructure cannot respond 1 week later. It has to respond today. So when they took our system on, across 7 countries, across 150 brands, different formats, small, medium, large, across franchisees and own stores, it was one software. And the trickle was 5 minutes. So the management can actually make decisions in 5 minutes about what promotions to launch, what stores are doing well, where to push more merchandise, what pricing to take. All of those decision making now can be done in 5 minutes as versus 1 week. So the speed of performance has improved.
It's all about breaking those data silos and making them talk to each other, right?
Yeah.
That's fantastic indeed, sir. Now with ETP, how do your initiatives also offer solutions for inventory management and order fulfillment across multiple channels?
That's a very good question, because I'd say the single biggest problem most retailers have is managing inventory. So I wouldn't say it's the biggest opportunity. The biggest opportunity is amazing customer experiences. The biggest problem is inventory management. Because really what is retail? Retail is about taking bulk, buying goods in bulk, breaking it down into smaller pieces and offering it to consumers on a silver plate. So since our system has a unified inventory management system, which means that we take data from everywhere, and like we said, in V5 it consolidates every 5 minutes, but in ETP Unify it's one single database, so there is no consolidation. You can just view all your inventory across all locations, all warehouses, whether they're online inventory. You may allocate some inventory to be sold online, some to be sold at stores. It's visible instantly. So retailers who use ETP systems don't have inventory management issues.
You need that 360-degree view for sure. Now also, how do you help with optimizing store checkout and to reduce any lost sales?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we work very hard on performance and scalability. So anything that leaves ETP's R&D labs has been tested for performance. So for example, we have a customer who is currently using 15,000 point of sale systems of ETP running off a single server. That's probably the largest installation anywhere in Asia Pacific, 15,000 points of sale, and all of them perform. We have this thing called sub-second performance. So our standard is 20,000 is our testing, 20,000 points of sale, and sub-second performance for every transaction. That means every time you scan, you bill, you do anything, it should take less than a second. So the customer service is fast, because I'm also a consumer. I'll take half an hour browsing, buy something. When I go to the counter, I'm not going to queue up.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't like it. So we work very hard to ensure that the performances of the software is very fast.
So how do you ensure data security and privacy, especially considering your cloud platforms?
Yes, it's a very, very relevant question. We've seen a lot of ransomware, a lot of challenges of different sorts that our customers have faced in different regions. So on our cloud platforms, since we manage and host them, we secure them with systems like Cloud Armor, which is a Google system. We make sure that their penetration tests, vulnerability and penetration tests are done regularly. All our platforms are certified for security. Every day we test them. Every morning we test them for weaknesses. So when we are hosting them, we ensure that they're not vulnerable. When customers are hosting, like V5 is hosted by our customers, cloud platforms of Unify or Dazzle are hosted by us. So we make sure that we secure the platform to the best of our ability.
Speaking of Ordazzle, can you tell us about how it's tailored to meet the specific needs of different business scales, especially in the context of SMEs versus large enterprises in India?
Yeah, so that's an interesting question. Ordazzle was built for scale. So, for example, we have tested and certified it to handle 5 million orders a day. Now, to give you some context, Amazon processes 1.5 million orders a day in the US. But Ordazzle handles 5 million a day per customer, per instance, right? So we have provided that level of scalability. At the same time, we have worked very hard. I think we took 3 years of UI UX design to make it easy to use. So when you log into Ordazzle, our typical training time is 2 hours.
Oh, all right.
So in 2 hours, we can train you to become a good user of Ordazzle and be able to process e-commerce transactions. So the user interface design is a very important part of it. It's beautiful. It's really nice to look at. It's got lovely colors. It's got 15 different themes you can have depending on the colors you like. But it's very easy to navigate and use.
So that's speedy in its execution, but also seems to be very speedy for adoption as well.
Yes.
Which is the need of the hour, absolutely.
Very well put, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think is the role of artificial intelligence in your platforms, and also how do you think it's shaping the future of retail?
Yeah, AI is now, I think, par for the course. It's not anything special. Yeah. So all our platforms have some AI use cases in them. At the same time, I think AI should not be used only for the sake of AI, because like we were discussing earlier, it can be very frustrating. Let's say if you have a chatbot with AI which keeps sending you in the wrong direction, right? So AI can be good, it can also be not so good. So we have used it for specific business use cases. So like when you in Ordazzle, AI, one of the big problems with e-commerce is cancellations and returns. You lose a lot of money when you get goods that are returned, or on delivery or just before delivery the order is cancelled, right? So for example, there are some PIN codes in different countries where you should not deliver cash on delivery because the chances of getting paid are not that great.
Wow, all right.
Yes, yes. So, so the AI system detects where orders could go wrong based on its own experience and data publicly available. So it's called order anomaly detection. So let's say somebody in a PIN code where it's not that great to deliver orders 2,000 jeans and cash on delivery, the system will say, hey, don't process this order. You can override it and process it if it's a human decision, but it flags orders that could be anomalous. Similarly, in the retail platform ETP Unify, we have product recommendation, like we were talking earlier about some of the good e-commerce systems you've seen. It recommends that if you've bought this nice jacket that you're wearing, you could also get these nice trousers that you're wearing. It would be a good pair, would suit you, looking at your past transactions. We have brought that to the store now.
Oh.
So store staff will tell you, ma'am, if you're buying this, you could also buy that. And there is a second screen which will also recommend other products to you based on your individual profile, your buying behavior, and the current products that you're buying, both from your online purchases and your physical purchase.
Okay, so that's a true omni-channel experience.
Yes.
And staying on that, how does ETP's Unify manage returns and exchanges in this omni-channel environment to provide a seamless experience for customers?
So ETP Unify is called Unify because it's a unified commerce platform. It unifies online and offline. So we had, multi-channel retail. First you had only physical, then you had brick and mortar and e-commerce. Then they were joined through integration into what was called omni-channel. And the future, which I was saying, we are future ready, is unified commerce, where you don't need to integrate because all that data resides on one single database. So when it's on one single database, if you are buying online and you go to the store, they have all your records. They can take the return there.
Oh, all right.
And if you would like to buy in a store, and you can also go to the website and say, I want it picked up as a return, it can be done seamlessly. So that's how we provide a seamless experience to consumers.
That's something that we've always wanted as ardent shoppers. So it's good to know, but bad for my wallet, but good to know. So, speaking of shopping and, kind of shopping that everyone's doing now, it's on their phones.
Yeah.
So, how does ETP Unify give a smooth experience for those who want to do their shopping exclusively on their phone?
Yes, so since Unify has all the elements of Ordazzle, it also handles e-commerce management. So we provide the whole e-commerce experience, both mobile as well as on iPad or whatever you want. At the same time, the people at the store are also mostly retail is mostly young people, right? They are used to using their mobile for everything. So our ETP Unify works on mobile phones, it works on tablets, it works on desktops.
Oh,
You'll get the same experience across all platforms. So it's a truly responsive application.
absolutely. Now, sir, do you have any solutions at ETP to handle the traditional retail sector in India, which is largely unorganized, and to integrate their digital channels?
But with the launch of ETP Unify, we want to democratize our solution. So ETP Unify, when it is available from 28th March onwards this year, will be available even for a single store user on a subscription basis. That makes it very, very affordable because you just pay a small monthly fee. You don't need to have any servers or anything, you just have a browser. And that could be your phone, it could be an iPad or a tablet, or it could be a PC. And you just log in, like any SaaS platform, you log in, you put in your credit card or whatever payment method, and you can use it. So even a Kirana shop can use it, a large retailer can use it. And the user interface, like I told you, we worked very hard to make it easy to use. So it's the adoption will be very fast. Maybe an hour, 2 hours of training, and you're done. You can use the system.
All right, sir, that's definitely shopping made easy, too easy by you at the ETP Group. Thank you so much for talking to us. It was a great conversation, extremely insightful, and I loved hearing the passion that you have for retail. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Shilpa.